Karibuni sana. Nadhani kidogo. Welcome, welcome, welcome on board. I'm waiting for our host to join us. Karibu sana. Catherine Chata is my name. Let's give the others a few minutes. Looking forward to a great evening. Karibu sana Mary Roby. Karibu Caroline. Maybe in the meantime, you can tell us where you're joining from. As we wait for the others to join. Yeah, I think let me put this there. So, hi. Thank you so much for taking time to join in. Catherine Chacha is my name. I'm happy to host you. I'm a lifestyle coach, and I basically like helping mostly women, but everyone, of course, to improve their health and wellness, fitness ideas as a life coach. And I'm really happy to have our host who's going to be talking to us about mental health. One thing I've realized is that you cannot just deal with one aspect of life and neglect the other. So I'm waiting as the others join in. Maybe we can type in where we are joining from. Karibu sana. Let me start again. I can see Rosendumu, Maureen, Mary Roby, Jane, Engineer Sempei, Cherotich, Deborah, karibu sana. Caroline, maybe we can type in our chat box. Feel free to type in your chat box where you're joining us from. And it also would be great to know in case you have a question. I know there are those ones who had given us sample questions before. So that the host can specifically address that during our talk. And yeah, but if you have any inquiries, please feel free, because mental health is something that is affecting us in, I think it's a serious way. I was looking at the research and some research that I was doing about mental health and what we are doing so far as Kenyans. Hi, Rose. Karibu, karibu. I can see you are joining us from Kiambu. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. So I just stumbled into some statistics that, yes, I can see our host is right there, Dorothy. Statistics that actually 1 out of 4 people are affected with mental health issues. And I think it's a discussion that we probably need to go through. It's a discussion that we need to have to encourage each other to know, because if 1 out of 4 people is affected, then it means that it's a discussion that we really need to have. Yeah. What is mental health? I don't even want to dilute it. I'm telling you, our host is superb, super excited. We've just had a discussion. We've just had a call before she joined in. She told me, kwanza wameniuliza zile vitu napenda kuongea. So I'm sure we're going to be having a really good treat. Thank you so much. Karibu sana, karibu sana. I can see engineers joining us from Nairobi. Engineer Sempei Dani. Karibu, welcome. Welcome. To our host, Dorothy, karibu sana. Let me, let's see how I can make this as well. Good. So type in the chat box as we wait for the others. Maybe we can give them a few minutes. Karibu sana. I can see Deborah Cherotich is joining us from Bomet. Wow, all that way. Karibu. Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's awesome. Maybe I can ask our I think Kenyans tunapendanga tu kupewa tu time kiasi. So don't mind, let's give, I think I can see we are 12, maybe we give another 5 minutes. What do you think? Host Dorothy, you can say something, unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. And I'm thinking we give them that 5 minutes that you mentioned.
Yes.
Before we begin.
Brilliant. Yeah, I can see you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nice. Super, super excited.
Thank you.
Yes.
Infections, blackheads.
Hi, everyone. I think 6:15 is a good time to start so that we can respect everyone who was here actually early. There are those who had even joined way before. There are those who had joined way before 6, and I think it's important when we respect each other's time. So let me just start by introducing myself. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, kindly say, you can type a one, type something on the chat box so that I know that all of us are in tune. Thank you, Carol Nyambura. I can see you've joined in. Good evening, good evening. So far, I want to recognize those who have come in. I can see there's, Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, kindly type something. Type a one, type something. Type an emoji that's how you feel today. Yes, I can see Mary has put her video on. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Karibu sana. I can start again. When I see our chats here, Rose says she's from Kiambu. Please note I've put you on, I've muted everyone, but we are going to have a session. We are going to have a session according to the host, Bilata to guide. But I just want to save time so that to go a long time. So we can use the chat box to communicate and give feedback and allow the host to be able to run the session vizuri. Rose Ndungu joining us from Kiambu, karibu sana. Engineer Sempei joining us from Nairobi, karibu sana. I'll stay high here. Francisca Casina, good evening, karibu sana, karibu. Yes. Engineer is hearing me loud and clear. Thank you, Dorothy. Yes, thank you so much, Maureen. Brilliant. So I think we are set. I will introduce myself again for the sake of those who are joining us. I can see there are those who are still joining. Jemima, karibu sana. Jemima, karibu. Roda Mbonga, karibu sana. My name is Catherine Chacha. My background is in the security industry. Actually, I served in the Ministry of Defense for 15 years, retired as a major. And I've also worked with Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning. Just to give you a background of who is talking to you. I'm a mom of 3 girls, married, and I'm right now currently pursuing networking, and I build a business from home. I'm a lifestyle coach as I continue with my other studies and other separate different projects that I'm working. Now, why mental health wellness? I know you probably would be asking yourself why this topic, because one, as a lifestyle coach, I found myself dealing with clients. My specific niche is to help people to look and feel good. On a physical note, your physical wellness, how advising you on how to maintain a healthy diet, maintain nutrition. Sometimes we know what we know, let me put it this way. We know what we should do, but we don't do it. Yeah. So I'm the person, I'm like your accountability partner to encourage you, to inspire you, to help you to achieve your goals. So for example, maybe whatever physical wellness that you want to deal with, I'll be able to assist. But I noticed something very different, very strange. Like a couple of clients that I've dealt with. In fact, the 2 weeks ago during Mother's Day, we had a session with ladies. I'm sure I can see there are 2, 3 familiar faces, familiar names here. We were there. We discussed. We had a really nice discussion about our physical health, and I noticed that that is one aspect of looking at it. Because even if I give you a wellness package to reduce weight, for example, if you are stressed out, if you are not having enough sleep, if your emotional self is affected in one way or another, you will not be able to follow that program. Mimi nitashinda hapo nakwambia, oh please make sure that you've been following the diet program as we talked about. Did you manage to exercise? If your mind is all over, if you are really affected, and by the way, especially us women, I found out that it's very, very, I think we're more vulnerable to talk, but at least for women, it's easier to open up to other women, yeah, to talk about what we are going through, unlike men. So I was like, Apana, let me have a session where I'm going to put together everyone, and we're going to talk about mental wellness. And why mental wellness? It's because one, May is the month that is dedicated for mental health awareness. Yeah, in case you didn't know, now you know. Two, when I was doing my research for the health talk for women, I actually realized that when we talk about the mental health, there's a report that was done and actually published. When was it? When was it? In March, that says 23% of the Kenyan population is affected by our mental conditions. 1 out of 4. In fact, 23%, that translates to 1 out of 4 people is affected with mental health issues. And that means, can you imagine, within your sphere of life, at home, in your society where you work, 1 out of 4 people is affected. That means we need to be advocates. And I think this is one way, this is my small way of trying to contribute so that we have a discussion. We reduce this stigma associated to all to the issues matters mental health. Because mtu anasikianga like, hey, umeenda kuona psychiatrist, kwani wewe uko poa? And I think I don't even want to dilute it further. I want our host to talk to us and equip us with knowledge. What is mental health? And why should we take it seriously? Yeah. So Dorothy, karibu. I don't know if you can unmute yourself, and I'm going to make you host so that you can take the show. Karibu sana. Francisca, you are loud and clear. Asante sana, asante sana. Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kate. Is that a green light to start?
Yes. Take it away.
Thank you so much. So I think you'll be on the lookout on those that might join in case I forget, or rather in case I get so much immersed into the session and miss out on them.
I will.
So,
I'll be there.
thank you. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining from far and wide. I'm honored to be amongst you, and I'm honored to be amongst such a great team of people, and more so for Kate to have organized this. So I'll start with an introduction. My name is Dorothy Omolo. I'm a holistic, not the word holistic. So I'm a holistic counseling therapist. I'm a mother of one beautiful girl. I'm not married. I'm a sister to 3, and I'm a daughter, and I'm also an aunt. And again, can I say I'm a healer? Can I say I am a healer, because my niche and my passion is more more leaning towards not just mental health per se, but emotional health. So I'm the founder and the CEO of New Day Counseling and Psychotherapy Services. So that is Dorothy. So the topic of today that Kate had mentioned that we should talk about was anxiety and depression, which when I saw that, I was like, this one I'm not even going to research on it because this one literally flows in my veins. And then today when she was sending me the list of possible questions that were asked, I was like, goodness, now this is it. This is really it. And I was just so excited the way I was telling her just before we started the session that I was excited because the questions were boundaries. How do we deal with the relationships of especially family love relationships? How do we deal with people who are draining us? And then another one was more of how do we heal, or rather, how do we deal with inner child wounds? And then again, another beautiful question was anxiety and depression due to the current economic situation, and also how do we heal? This one was particular with how do we heal from the childhood traumas, inner healing, depression, and again, there was also a question of overreactions and overthinking, and again, also imposter. How do we deal with the concept of imposter syndrome? So for me, these were very good because they seem to be more of normal day-to-day things that we encounter. So if you have a pen and a paper, or if you have somewhere you can scribble, be it your phone, be it your iPad or anything, anywhere you can scribble something, I want you to write these two things. I want you to write depression and anxiety. The chat box should also help us to ask any questions that you want or any clarity that you want. Please put it in the chat box so that I can pick up. So write anxiety, start with anxiety, and then, start with depression and then anxiety, interchange them. Start with depression and then anxiety. And then under depression, I want you to put an arrow. If you're using a pad, then put a space. If you're writing, then put an arrow. And under depression, put an arrow down and then write past, like the past tense or the past things that happened. And then under the word past, put another arrow and write down the word memory. Then we move to anxiety. So anxiety, again, as we did initially, put down an arrow, write the word future. And then under the word future, put another arrow, write the word imaginations. If you're done with that, raise your hand. I want to see, or give me a signal in the chat box. I want to see how many people we are together with. If you've written that, come in the chat box and tell me. Yeah, thank you so much, Engineer Sempei. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for somebody else to tell me. Thank you so much. Okay, Jemima, thank you. Caroline, thank you. Mary, thank you. Irene, thank you. Okay, at least Doreen, thank you. Catherine, thank you. Now, I want us to understand this from this point. I want to make this definition of the word anxiety and depression very relatable and very, very understandable, so that we don't, because again, when somebody says, I'm anxious, it always creates people cringe, I'm depressed, people cringe. So I want us to be able to bring this definition closer to home. But before that, let me ask. I want this session to be very, very interactive. Let me ask. I'll start with engineer. What is the most simplest understanding of the word depression? And I'll ask Carol Nyambura, tell me, after engineer, you tell me what you understand by the word anxiety. And in those cases, or rather in those events that you're going to mention, try and mention how it manifests and any type of any example that you can give in any case. You can unmute and give us a possible scenario and an explanation. Carol and engineer, are you able to speak? Okay. Let's hope engineer is preparing. Carol Nyambura, are you able to speak where you are? If you're not able to, we can also still use the chat box. It can come in handy. Okay, who is willing to? Okay, there's a write-up here. Okay, engineer, it's okay. Your mic, it's okay. So would you mind typing if that is okay? Anybody else who can give us an idea of what is their understanding of the term anxiety or depression? At least hearing from you will give me an idea of not what per se, but where we are as a people.
Good evening. I can try and give an understanding of depression. Depression is when you find yourself, you're not able to do your normal daily activities, maybe due to what you're going through as an individual, the circumstances that are facing you. So you just find yourself that you're bogged down, such even daily tasks become like a chore, just carrying them out. Yeah, that's what I would say depression is.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Media.
I can say depression is to me, it's a mood disorder whereby someone ends up feeling hopeless, you're sad, you don't have energy, and it could be maybe as a result of what is happening to you at the moment or what happened in the past. Then anxiety, to me, it's a feeling that you're nervous. You're always nervous, and it could be maybe you're overthinking, could be things you're imagining that happen, but you get nervous about situations, you're worried, and it can also make you not happy.
Very true. Very true. Thank you so much, Irene, and all of us who've contributed. So engineer has also mentioned that depression is, to me, is episodes where someone experiences different mood swings from irritable to extremely happy, leading to loss of interest to activities or over interest in activities. Anxiety is a sense of being overwhelmed, and depression is a feeling of sadness, losses in life. Those definitions are very correct, and all of them are very true. Now, I know that as psychologists, we do something that we call diagnosis. And that is when we walk into a psychologist or therapy room, and after that, at least you're sure you'll be told you have bipolar 1, you have bipolar 2, you have mood disorders, you have anxiety disorders, you have depression, you have depressive mood disorders, you have, name them. The reason why I say I am a holistic therapist is because I don't diagnose. Because theories are there to back me up, but again, it's not about theories that back me up. It's my belief that when you walk into my room, my therapy room, and you are, you tell me, Dorothy, I can't sleep over the past 2 weeks, my sleep pattern is not good. Which again, when we get towards the end of this, I'll want everybody at least to give me how that's been in the past 2 to 3 weeks. We will be able to handle that. So back to why I don't diagnose is because I believe when you walk into my therapy room and I brand you that, hey, bipolar disorder. Okay, wow. That alone make it stick to the brain that, oh, by the way, I'm always bipolar, So you do things, the mind do things that are correlated to bipolar. So the moment you become sad, you'll be like, oh, I'm bipolar. Something happens, oh, I'm bipolar. And then you work with this particular brand and you own it, and they say you start using the words, oh, mi nakuaga bipolar. Mi nakuaga na overthink. Mi nakuaga na stress. The more you own these things, the more you cause damage to the brain. Now, back to why we wrote depression and anxiety. So what causes depression and what causes anxiety and what is anxiety? Now, walk with me. In case you don't get anything, please remember the chat box is open so that I don't leave you behind. Now, we started with depression. In my line of practice as a holistic counseling therapist, I believe in three body, not body per se, but three beings in us. The three beings are the body, the mind, and the soul. These three, if they coordinate and work as one, then as a human being, your function becomes optimal. You function optimally. But when these three are not in coordination, then as a human being, you start having issues like anxiety, depression, overthinking, sleep disorders. You have migraines. And if you have migraines, please note, you'll tell me later so that we don't leave this place without having a discussion on that. So I'm going back to the three heads. So the first thing that feeds your soul, mind, and body is either your eyes, your sense of smell, your ears, your mouth, every sense of the five senses in our bodies feed your soul. And for these things to feed your soul, then there has to be an origination of all this. What do I mean? If you are a child, or rather now you're an adult, and you came from a background where your mother was constantly critical of the person that you are, your mother could easily tell you, oh, be like so and so, wewe ukwe mtoto kama wa nani nani, mbona usifanye nini kama nani, mbona usikue kama nani. So what happens when you grow up? Remember, the formative years of a child's life, that is between the ages of 0 to 7 years, are very, 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 very critical. So for instance, if your mother was that kind of a critical mother, be like so and so, be like so and so, then it means for some reason, thank you so much, just stars again. For some reason, you grow up knowing that you're good for nothing. Other people are better than you by margins. I am at depression. So people are better than you by margins. Okay? So you grow up, because wait, who told you you're good for nothing? It was the first tribe. It was your own first caregiver. So this thing is sealed. You move into your teenage days. The teenage years between the 13 and the 19 is called, in the child developmental theories, it's called identity versus confusion. Now, remember those days, you've been told you're good for nothing. So it means as a teenager, you're always going to struggle to fit in. To fit in a group of people who probably looks the cool people within the society that you're in at that particular time. Is it school? Is it the environment that you stay in? Whichever environment that you are in, you're going to try to fit in. As an adult, you become a people's pleaser. Why? You cross oceans for people who would not cross any road for you. You see how it grows? It starts from somewhere, comes to somewhere, and then somewhere. Now, at depression, you've crossed oceans for people who've not crossed roads for you. And anytime somebody, let's say you're married now, anytime your husband or your wife is going to challenge you, it's going to quote and say calls for something that is going to make you feel vulnerable. If you're a man, you're going to feel, this woman is reminding me, quote and say, of my mom, who always insisted that I was good for nothing. So the moment somebody insinuates a comparison, just an insinuation, that sungefanya kama, immediately you rise up in defense. So where does depression comes in? Depression is the past. You start getting sad. You start getting bothered. So the more you get bothered, the more this thing sticks in. Because again, remember, there's something I call oscillation. It is the 9-3 oscillation. You're rarely in the 12. The 12 is here and now. Growing up, now the past events and the things that have happened in the past have always made you feel vulnerable, useless. You gave up in so many things. You studied what they wanted. You did everything they wanted. You parented your siblings the way they wanted. You did everything by their book, and nothing was ever about you. So these resentments grows up. This resentment settles in. And you be like, hizo nimesahau, hizo ni za kitambo. Trust me, you kept them in a particular compartment. A compartment that any insinuation that is going to make you feel off the grid makes you become defensive. Now, so depression comes from any past memory, any past event. Now that is where depression comes from. So if you're not able to deal with these things as they come, you form something called emotional bank. So what happens when you have a full to the brim emotional bank? Look at my cup. So assume my cup is full to the brim. What happens? It's full of hatred, it's full of bitterness, it's full of, I was always being compared to so-and-so is always better than me. It's full of your teenage days was shame. It's full of guilt, it's full of so many things. So when it's full, this is where people burst out. So you accidentally step on someone, and instead of handling the situation of being stepped, they blow out of proportion. Why? Because this thing is too full and it needs a shake-up. So what will happen when the shake-up's done? It will pour out a little bit. but the content will still remain. So what that means is you will, when Dorothy steps on you, you're not handling the Dorothy that have stepped on you now. You're handling here, the content of this. You pick one, you burst out, and then you replace, Dorothy amekukanyaga sahi umekasirika, you replace it, you take it back. So at no point of time is your emotional bank ever going to be empty. Now, this can come from, the source of your depression can come from your childhood. I'm not going to call them traumas, because when we say childhood trauma, that is a blanket. Emotional neglect, witnessing violence at home, physical neglect, constant criticism, lack of relationship with your father, lack of relationship with your mother, parentified child, parentified teenager, and also any other traumatic event growing up. That is the source of depression. So the source of depression is the past, the memories. That is what causes you depression. Coming to the anxiety. Now, let us use the same child, or rather let's use the same example. No, let's get another example. A child that was brought up in a family where there was constant war. It was paramilitary. I call it mini barracks. So this child grows up, say between the age of 0 to 3, there was no physical fights. But the beauty is children pick things called energies. You don't have to fight. They might not even hear you people fighting, but the energies these children pick are things you cannot even put your hands on. They absorb it. They analyze it. If you've ever heard something called the body keeps the score, those are what the body of a child keeps. And if you didn't know, 3 months to a child's birth, the child already has an idea of the environment they are going to. Why? It's because of the hormones and the changes of the environment that is caused by the hormones that the mother is passing to the child through the placenta. Imagine. So before your birth, you already knew it. You already knew your environment, and you formulated a way to survive around it. Now, this child is born. So the mother and the father are constantly on either mood swings, Cold War fights or physical fights. So these children grow. So this child is constantly always on the lookout. Dad ni mkali. Kuna kitu imefanyika leo. Ebu ukienda kumwongelesha umwongeleshe hivi. Ama ebu mwangalia kuna moods gani ndio mwende. So these kids develop an eggshell, develop a formula of walking on eggshell around the parents, because anytime anything can go wrong. You crack an eggshell, you pay for it. So these children grow with constant expectations. If you are a child that was constantly beaten, probably firstborn, you are constantly reminded of, hey, you're the firstborn. So-and-so anafaa kuoga, so-and-so anafaa kuwa amekula. So, and when your parent comes home and find that the so-and-so has not even taken a bath, you pay for it. And you'd be beaten. When your parents would come home and find some chores are not be done, and these chores were supposed to be done by your siblings, and you get the beating. So any moment you'd hear the voice of your mother, even just calling you for something like, get me that cup. The moment you'd hear her voice, Dorothy, your heart sinks. When she's not home, and when she's about to come home, you constantly find yourself gazing. What have I not done? What have I not done? What have I not done? What? Nini? Mtoto ipe hajaoga, mtoto ipe hajavaa sweta, nani hajakula? You know, you're constantly, okay. You see? So while this happens, you grow up with this. Now you formulate a particular way of surviving around your parents. Today, you are an adult. Trust me. Anybody who is in authority calls you, you go berserk. Today, you are an adult. You remind yourself, because you're constantly fearful of what next? What if? Why? Because that inner child, remember, each and every one of us has three beings in them. The inner child, the teenage, and the adult. Remember the concept of the body, mind, and soul? Yes, the inner child, the teenage child, and the adult, which must all work in unison for an optimal functioning of human beings. Now, do we have an idea of where anxiety comes from? So anxiety is the fear of the future. So if you remember about, let's say if you're coming from a very poor background, not per se poor, but we understand what poor means in Kenya. But you're coming from a not so well-off background. Probably during your school days, you went to school with no shoes. You went to school and things were not just okay. And, you know, the moment it dawns on you that you can go poor, anxiety, you become, and that thing is not nice, can literally cripple you. And the moment you're on constant gaze, constant fear, because anxiety is fear. When you're operating in constant fear of the future, which you've not even seen. Who knows about tomorrow? Let me ask. Who has an idea of what is happening tomorrow? Just say, yes, I know. Just say yes or no. Carol, do you know what is happening tomorrow? Thank you. That church has said, I don't know. Who knows what is happening tomorrow? Justin. Thank you, Nyambura. Justin? Engineer? Chebet?
Hi.
Thank you, Maureen. Do you know what is happening tomorrow?
Not really.
Are you in control of it?
I feel I would.
Are you in control of what is happening tomorrow?
Not necessarily, maybe by the plans that I have today.
Exactly.
I'm a projections.
Exactly. So thank you so much. So what happens about, what is an anxiety? Anxiety is caused by you using your past, and then you project them into the future. In the past, you've not been good enough. And then what happens to the future? You know, you're not here. You're not today. You're not at 12. You are between 3 and 9. A wall clock or a clock, a watch has the 3, the 9, and then the 12 or the 6. So the 12 or the 6 is always on the, here. The 90 degrees, we are here. But the 3 and 9 is, one is the past and one is the future. So the beautiful thing about your mind is, if you're not here and you're constantly scared, remember your foundation was made of fear from your first tribe. So if your foundation was foundation of fear, then you are constantly digressing in the past. And what does your brain do or your mind do? Your mind tells you, hey, hey, chief, look at where you're coming from. You're coming from a nobody's position. So where are you going to? What do you think you can do better than where you're coming from? And then if it was an interview, you got there panicking, you got there already feeling like a loser, you got there with, you're already done. Because according to you, The future gives you, because it's an imagination. Where we sit now, actually anything beyond Samoja, we are just imagining how it's going to be. But we have no control of it. But we have a very good control of where we are coming from. You know where you're coming from so well. And that's why we bring in the aspect of self-awareness. So I was trying to explain that where is anxiety coming from? Myself as Dorothy, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, by the way, I'll be diagnosing you with anxiety disorder. No. If you are a child that was not allowed, because again, some children with the people that I've interacted with, I've heard of situations that children were strictly not allowed to go play outside with others. They were only allowed to play within their compound. Such a child today as an adult, they don't even know how to make friendship. Leave alone the people they're married to. They're just married because society said we must marry. And let me add the salt to injury on that concept of the anxiety and depression. All these are a formation of fear. All this comes from your upbringing. And then again, there are these, anything that happens from upper katikati only precipitates what was already stamped. These are only precipitations. But if you're coming from a space where it was not, where you are heard, you are listened to, you are appreciated, you are looked at. Anything that happens in the middle here, you are given an ability or a strong kind of, let me call it, a strong background to be able to hold it together. So you're able to see, okay, Dorothy, you're stepping on me. It means I have my boundaries and I'm able to speak. Dorothy, I'm not going to do this. No, because you know what? These ones, I'm not going to handle this. You have boundaries. And you know how to make relationships. And you know how to make relationships stand. But something that is of concern. So we come from diverse background. We come from places where we've taken a lot, and sometimes we really wonder, how are we going to go over and beyond these situations? Now, look at this. Now, if you as a child, and in this case there was food on your table, shoes on your feet, clothes on your body, I said food on the table, roof over your head, school fees was paid. You see, according to our parents, that was more than enough. But unfortunately, that is not true. Emotional availability to a child means the world to a child, more than anything else. So you grow up, all this, because these others are your rights. Actually, even emotional availability are your rights, because wait, you didn't ask to be born. So that said, so you're coming from this family where I love you, telling a child I love you was something like, okay, you're handsome, you're beautiful, you're doing great. There was no constant clapping. That's why today you'll find the people that we call narcissists, especially those people that were born hapo katikati, those people that felt like, others were in control, others were loved, others were preferred, others were given pedestal over them. Today, they don't even know how to make relationships. They're actually, if they realize that somebody is becoming too close in the name of love, they would be like, hey, yo, what do you want? Unataka nini? That's why we have people nowadays, the likes of narcissists. Narcissists, I don't like calling them narcissists, but I call them emotionally walled-in people. We have manipulators. These are children. Narcissists are people who are not, especially the second borns, the last borns, and the mother's favorites, or the children that were favored. This one feels like the world revolves around them, and everything should just be about them, and It's a messed up world. We have manipulators. We have men who manipulate. We have women who are manipulators, both in the corporate spaces and both in these other spaces, in the general spaces. We have also gaslighters. People mwenye afadhali wagonganishe nyinyi wawili, and then they stand outside and they look so good. Those are all sources of depression and anxiety. And all of these stem from your roots. So if you've ever gone and you're diagnosed with anxiety, please, before you start taking medication, please. I'm not against taking medications of anxiety or rather antidepressants, but before you go to antidepressants, it is very, 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 very imperative that you find a holistic. I'm not disputing psychologists, but I'm saying you find a holistic so that you're not wrongly put on medication. Any question up to that point? Justin, talk about magic mushroom in cure of depression. And depression, that's what I'm researching on. I'm not so sure if I'm able to talk about this, but what I'm sure of is any moment I'm handling a client that has depressive disorders, I take them on a plant-based diet, because plant-based diet raises your vibration as a person, and I wean them off animal products, because animal products, most of them, especially red meat, has less vibration and energies, positive energies, that is. So I might not really comment on that mushroom. I'm sorry. Any question on anxiety and depression? And if it's making sense, or if I'm making sense? Yes, Justin, I know it's a plant. Am I making sense? Tell me if I'm not making sense. I take up the different. So I was talking about what is anxiety, what is depression, and causes of both. Oh, thank you so much, Mary Wanjiko. Thank you so much, Engineer Sempei. Wow, thank you so much, Justin. 1,000 years, 1,000% yes. Wow, that is beautiful. Now, am I allowed to move into the questions that that were raised initially? Please tell me yes. And which one is of preference? Inner child healing, or how to heal the wound of an inner child? Which one should I start with? Relationship and depressions? Boundaries? Where is Rhoda? Engineer, where is Rhoda? So Maureen says we start with boundaries. And then we move to how to heal the inner child. So, okay, Wanjiko, then we move to how to heal the inner child. The inner child, yes, Rhoda Bonga, we do inner child. So we start with boundaries and then we move to healing of the inner child. Now, again, I'm going to define boundaries in the very simplest term, something that we can all understand. Let me start with a quick one. Justin, what is boundaries? I think I'm picking up Justin because he's very, very active. Justin, what is boundaries? As Justin is preparing to write on boundaries, let me ask, Wairimo Gadhi, are you able to talk? If you're not able to talk, please type for me. What do you understand by the term boundaries? Or if I'm having boundaries? Mburu, Grace, please write for me. Mose, Gillian, Please write for me what is boundaries. Doreen Chebet, write for me what is boundaries. Carol. Mohochi, please write for me what is boundaries. I'm listening before I give my definition of what is boundaries. Yes, engineer, we are starting with boundaries. I'm listening from you first to understand at least what is your definitions of boundaries and what you understand by the term boundaries. No, we can't be quiet. Yes, having limits in life. Irene says having limits in life. Interactions. Okay, that's good. Moses says boundaries are limits that one should not go beyond. Boundaries are private or personal lines, extents that should not be crossed. Wow, quite some beautiful definitions there. Engineer says boundaries to me are knowing where one ends and other begins when it comes to interacting with other people. Good. Engineer, other people in this case, did you mention your close relatives, close family? Does it include your close family? Wairimu? Gadi, does this include your close family? Or where do we draw the line with boundaries? I'm listening. Where do we drop the lines when it comes to boundaries? Yet, yes, it does include my close family and my wife. Thank you so much, engineer. Boundaries is knowing yourself and what is best for you before others' needs. But wait, Deborah, how easy is it to do this, or rather to execute that? Putting your needs before others. Rules and limits we set for ourselves in life. Thank you so much, Esther. Okay, we have quite some good and beautiful definitions there to go with as far as boundaries is concerned. I'm looking for again another simplest way of bringing in boundaries, because again most of the times, yeah, thank you so much, Wairimo. Because again most of the times people have always talked of boundaries, but again there's always a space where they start drawing the line, you know, especially when it comes to family. It's not just passive family, but the close, the close people within family, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your wife, your husband. It sometimes it always comes with a lot of expectations from the society, and also apart from expectations from the society, it also has a lot to do with your upbringing, again, taking us back to growing up. A quick one. How easy is it for you to say no and stand on your no? Just a quick one. Catherine, how quick is it easy for you to say no and stand on your no?
I guess because of my profession, I have learned to to put boundaries. But before,
Okay.
I'm more of a people pleaser. I think so.
Okay. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else? How easy is it for you to say no? And just say no without guilt, and not feeling literally guilt. And just be like, yo, I said no, and that's it. I'm waiting to see a certain answer here. Yeah, it's easy for me to say no and enforce it. I'm still struggling. Thank you so much, Mary, for being very truthful. Engineer, that is quite something. I think I would love to. Very hard to say no, especially to family and friends. That is very true. Doreen, that is very true. Caroline, that is very true. I justify my no. That is wounds. Maureen, you are very wounded. But it's okay. We're talking about that. I'm struggling with setting boundaries. That's okay. it's pretty difficult because you want to preserve relationships and avoid conflicts. Thank you so much, Werimo. So allow me to pick it up to that point. Now, I want to give a typical example. Which child should I give an example of? Yeah. Go with me down this memory lane so that we bring in the concept of boundaries. So you're coming from a home that is not so well lit financially, and then you don't have much. She doesn't have, okay, let me use her as she doesn't have much to go with. And then sometimes her uniforms are torn and they're sewn up by their mom. The shoes are not looking so good, and she's, she has to go to school. Sometimes she's being chased away for school fees. She's in class 4, tentatively a preteen. Then she gets into her teenage days. And then in their school, there are this group of, the preteen is when, if class 4, 5, and 6, this is when girls start to realize that, oh, I'm having boobs. And this is when they start this boyfriend-girlfriend thing. And then for her, because of how she looks, nobody wants to associate with her. The boys in class play with other girls, but nobody plays with her. She struggles because, again, she only has one friend whom she presumes is her friend because they share more or less the same things. So she's literally struggling to fit in. So one day she goes home, they cook some meals. She has to carry these meals home. And because she has nothing to offer, when anybody comes to ask her for meals, for this food, say chapati, sweet potato, cassava, whatever she'll be carrying to school, she can't say no. Mary, nisaidie kidogo, chukua. John comes, Mary, nisaidie kidogo, chukua. Peter comes, Mary, nisaidie kidogo, chukua. Dorothy comes, Mary, nisaidie kidogo, chukua. And then the last bit is remaining. And then Ben comes, Mary, nisaidie. It's okay, chukua. Umekula. No, it's okay. Hata sikuwa nasikia njaa. Why is she doing this? She's doing this because she knows, and her body knows, how it feels to be lonely. Her body knows and reminds her that, because again, wait, for someone to get to these particular realms, for someone to get to these particular situations, then it means even at home, there's no communication, there's no that emotional availability of the parents, because I'm imagining the mother is not emotionally available, not because she wants to, but she has a lot in her mind. She wants to provide for her children. So ni kuangalia atawaangalia, ama ni kutafuta pesa atawatafutia pesa mkule. The father may be, the two scenarios, if the father may be a drunkard, if not the father is a drunkard, but the father is working away from home. So this girl knows nothing about self-love, because a mother's adequate love imprints in a child self-love and self-care. A father's adequate love and attention imprints in a child security and provision. Now, when this child, Mary, grows up, even in her teenage days, she will still struggle to fit in. She will cross oceans and rivers, roads, seas to make people happy. Because subconsciously, she's still struggling to fit in. Subconsciously, she's still struggling to feel loved. Subconsciously, she's still struggling to feel like she belongs. She's looking for the concept of belonging. So most people lack boundaries because we are looking to belong. We are looking to fix others. We are looking to feel loved. We are looking for acceptance from others. And the only painful part of the whole thing is that the people we are crossing oceans, seas, rivers, and lakes for cannot even cross a road for us. A road for us. And it hurts. It hurts. It hurts so badly. It hurts so badly that it causes you to go into depression. It hurts so badly that it causes you to have anxiety. It hurts so badly. But when your sense of self-awareness, when your sense of self-awareness starts kicking in, then you start developing something called boundaries. So what are boundaries? Yes, we call them limits. Now look at this example. Now, Dorothy, I have a compound. Or no, we're using Mary. So Mary got to a point that, you know, she has her own compound. She has a house, probably a gate. No, let's be at the compound first. So she has a compound, a gate, and she has a house inside this compound. She has a bedroom. She has a master bedroom. She has a sitting room. She has the other bedroom, and she has a living room area. She has a master bedroom. Then she has the other guest's bedroom, and then she has the living room, kitchen, master bedroom, and then the other bedroom, and then within the compound. So how does Mary apply the concept of boundaries? So rule number one, boundaries does not mean that you are a very mean person. Boundaries haimaanishi wewe ni mchoyo. Boundaries haimaanishi wewe ni mbaya. Boundaries haimaanishi wewe siku hizi umechange. Boundaries haimaanishi that you don't love people. No. So how does boundaries come in? So let's imagine yourself with me in Mary's compound. And boundaries does not choose. I'll come back to that. Now we are here in Mary's compound. Dorothy is here, Engineer is here, Justin is here, Chacha is here, Irene is here. We are all here in Mary's compound. And then you realize that Mary, now being at a place where she's healing, now she knows that for me as Mary, Irene, Chacha, Justin, Catherine, they'll stay within the compound. Now we're bringing the concept of boundaries and how it looks. Those ones will stay within the compound. Why? They cannot be in my house. Of course, they're staying within my compound because I've allowed them to stay. Compound. See now, I want to use the names that are here. Let me. Justin, Esther, and Grace, and Jane, and Maureen will somehow come into the sitting room. Okay? Then Rhoda, Rose, Supreme, Wairimu will come up to my bedroom door. Okay? But Jillian Doreen, Chebet, Chebet, Caroline will come into my bedroom. Now, why did Mary decide to separate these people in that categories? Because Mary knows that those people that are within my compound, you see, you've created cycles. Mary knows that these ones that I'm letting inside my own bedroom, I know the damage that they can cause. I know the goodness that they can bring. And the damage they can cause, I can handle. The goodness they'll cause, I'll handle. Staying in my sitting room, it's not like I'm chasing them out of my bedroom. No, they're within my compound, so we're still good. Like, we're good. We're cool. It's just that what I can tell whoever is in my bedroom, I cannot tell who is in my sitting room. I cannot tell who is in my kitchen. I cannot tell who is in the other bedroom. I cannot tell who is in the sitting room. I cannot tell who is in the compound. Boundaries. These people are still around you, but how you operate, sorry, how you operate with people within the bedroom is not the same way you're operating with people in the compound. Am I making sense with the definition of boundaries? Esther, you're saying, wow. What? Is it wow? Okay, wow. I want to believe you're surprised or... Okay. I hope to understand what that. Okay, thank you, Maureen. Engineer also mentioned the boundaries. Am I making sense? Are we making sense, or rather, are we understanding how boundaries should be like? Maureen says yes. Okay, I hope others understanding. In case you have a question, please ask. So the thing is, whoever stays in which part of your house, you understand well, respective of if she's your mom, she's your bosom aunt, she's the one who brought you up, he is your father, he is the man who educated you, they're the people who paid your school fee, they're the people who are giving you oxygen, the boundaries. Knowing what to say with Dorothy, how to say it and when to say it. Knowing who to argue with, when to argue with, what to argue about, and how to argue about. When, who, how, why, and what. When, who, why, when, and what. Know what to argue about. Know how to argue about. Know even how to argue about it. Some deserves your silence and a sip of water, and you'll be like, yo, bro, I'm not doing that. Boundaries comes in different formats. That depends with who is handling. But again, remember, if you're a wounded inner child, but let me remind you one thing, that while you cross rivers and oceans for these people, and they don't cross the same for you, trust me, by mistake, you die now. Hata sapa tutakula. Actually, hata lunch tutakula. Nobody an apologies. Hello. The world owes you no apology. Because we will live our lives. Now, imagine this. Try this. Let me be a bad therapist for a moment. Then I'll be a good one. I always have to ask that permission because I'm about to go rogue. And then, who has allowed me to be a bad therapist? Just lift up your hands. An emoji too. And then I'll be bad for a moment. I'm not going to be bad until you guys allow me. Thank you. Okay, engineers allowed me to be a bad therapist. Anybody else? I need 3 votes to allow me to be a bad therapist. I'm on the chat session, so I'm not going to be a bad therapist. Maureen has smiled, so that's a yes. Thank you. I have 3 votes. So, Rhoda, thank you. Now I'm going to be a bad therapist. Now look at this in this way. There's this one person who keeps coming to you for favors. They called you last minute. Oh, let me use a typical example. Somebody calls you, Dorothy, aki tafadhali nisaidie, tunalala njaa na watoto. Let me use that typical, tunalala njaa na watoto. Or aki nani aki tusaidie, because like they put you in a fix. And then you don't have, or what you have is already budgeted for. And then they have a way of guilt tripping you. My people from Central Kenya, your parents pull the cards of I'll curse you and the culture. If you're from Central Kenya and your parents has ever pulled this card for you, I'll curse you. I'm your parent, you're supposed to take care of me. Smile. Just smile in the chat box. My people from Central Kenya, your parents pulls this of I'll curse you, pulls this card of you have to take care of, pulls this card of nyinyi ni watoto wangu, ni lazima mnitunze. I'm not talking about the relationship you have with them, but I'm talking about that point that you are in a fix. You are between a wall and a rock and a hard place. Financially, most of these favors are always financial. And sorry, the strength of opening your mouth and saying, Sina, Sai, you'd rather die. You'd rather be buried. Let me tell you something minor. Unaomba kila siku jue ni mteremko. Ombeni nani? Ombeni you saying no feels like, what if they never talk to me again? Unasema no, lakini uko guilty. Yani uko guilty, hata waweza kosa kula. Kichwa chauma. Juu umesema no. Try this week. Give me feedback. Get my number from Catherine and give me feedback. Say no. And let's see if you die. Ukisikia waenda kufa, nipigie simu, nikuongezee oxygen. The moment you say no, these people will run to other options. Because jue unakoka mteremko, siete wana option, kufa leo tuone kama watakufa na wewe. They won't die. Tena jaribu sana ukufe kitu kama saa 5 6 hivi. Mwanzako tutakula lunch. Tutapelekwa kwa fridge kama tunakula lunch sisi. And it's the same people wanakuomba kila siku ukisema huna. Hapo kila siku unajijazia stress hivi. You said no, sina. Lakini unasikia kama akili, your mind is boggled up, literally. You don't have and you can't say no. You're running left, right, and center to save the situation. What are you doing to your body? You're creating the 2 hormones, the happy chemicals and the stress chemicals. This is what happens. When you start going haywire, the happy chemicals goes down and the stress chemical goes up. This is like you injecting your body with 0.5 ml of poison on a daily basis. Then before you know it, migraines. Before you know it, anxiety. Before you know it, respiratory problems. Before you know it, ulcers, acidity. Before you know it, stroke. Because once your brain starts overthinking and you feeling overwhelmed, then anxiety goes up. It means your respiratory issues have started kicking, because the moment you're having anxiety, it happens between your navel button to your heart area. This area is called the sacral chakra, which I can teach you another day. It pumps. This is where your emotions are. Tell me, the moment this is going to go on, as a woman, your hormonal imbalance is at the peak. Periods zinakuja kama zinauma kama kitu kingine. Hii self love watu wanaimba ujui hata kidogo. Thank you, thank you. It is okay to listen to the conversation at hand, but the moment the conversation is not putting you as a person at the center, no. Because wait, you think today if you go down, everybody's going to go down with you. None is going to go down with you. You're going to go down alone, and we will still eat lunch that day in case you went earlier, and we'll still eat supper in case you went during lunchtime. End of being a bad therapist, and I'm now back to being a good therapist. I know. So I hope I answered the question of boundaries. Any question on boundaries? Then I move to healing of the inner child. Any question on boundaries? Giving us a minute so that I'm able to respond to that. Thank you so much, engineer. The talk is very insightful. Thank you. Any question on boundaries? Anything I didn't answer well? I'm listening so that we can move into the next healing of the inner child. Please, if you have, I would like to know, as you answer that, I would like to know who's in where we are. If you're having migraines, you've had migraines for the longest time. If you've been having anxiety, rather you're becoming anxious for the longest time. Constant, no, you snap out so fast. You get angry so fast. If you overthink, please let me know. So that I'm able to give you some tips as when we'll be coming to wind up. So Maureen is asking, what of work boundaries? It's not easy to have a workplace boundary if you do not have boundaries within you. At workplace, you'll be given work. What Maureen anakosa, and because you can't say no, you cannot survive to see the light of the day. Utakuwa unakasirika daily, then the work that you once loved starts becoming a bother. So it's not easy again to say no, because you're still seeking to belong. You're still seeking to be loved, and that love has to come from you, which I'm going to handle that in the next healing of the inner child or childhood traumas. Okay, engineer, how do you deal with those relatives who always insist, no matter how much you say no, then proceed to guilt trip you? How do you take care of how they took care of you when you were young, or when you did not have nothing? Seems that you need to balance. Engineer, can I be a bad therapist? Please give me a go ahead. Engineer, if you give me a go ahead to go to stock raw, I'll appreciate. If you want to give me a go ahead, then I'll mince my words, but the message will still be home. Thank you. Now, I want to use our African setup. Remember, boundaries does not mean don't help. Just doing bad therapy is the right answer. Okay, thank you. So, not bad therapy, sorry. Boundaries does not mean that you become bad. or you become mean, or you stop helping. And most of the times you'll find like you've helped these people more than enough. Like, mtoto wetu ako na nini tusaidie haya. Mtoto wetu ana nini tusaidie haya. Haukuwa nayo tukakutunza, hata sisi tulikutolea hiyo time hakukuwa na diaper, kulikuwa na napkins. Tulikutolea napkins hata tukakulisha haya. Bana, you've paid for the last 15 years. Kwani unataka kulipa na maisha? Sema no, kwani lazima wait first. Let me be requested to be a bad therapist. Engineer, thank you. Simu ni yako. Messages wanatuma kwa simu yako. Calls wanapiga simu yako. And you're still receiving these calls and you've said no. Simu yako iko na ignore button. Ama ni kawia yangu. Ushasema hapana. Then you are it's about them. That is manipulating. And the moment they manipulate you and you give, this is what you do to your body. Let me tell you, you're not doing to them. You're the one hurting yourself. Let me tell you how it works. Remember the body, mind, and soul. Now, you've said no. And your whole system has said no. And then they start tripping you. Oh, siku hizi una maringo, una madharau, you have changed, unaona uko na pesa, uko na... Bana, kwa ni zao. Who worked for those money? Who worked for those money? It is you. And you have the authority and capacity to dictate where your money goes to. If you say no, it's your money. Let them go and work with their money also. Are they blind? Are they lame? Are they maimed? They don't have hands. We did. Kwani unataka kulipa miaka yako yote? Because we did. Now back to body, mind, and soul. Now this is what happens. When your body, mind, and soul has come to an accomplishment and said, we're not doing this, and then you're guilt tripped, then what it does, it opens, hold it there. Now, a human brain is like an inverted triangle. Human brain is like an inverted triangle. Now, within this inverted triangle, there are compartments. Hapa na storage of all unfinished businesses. Assume like it's a laptop with 100 tabs open. So when they guilt trip you, hiyo word wamesema because that is why people react before thinking. The cortex, which is in pale juu, that is what is responsible for here and now faster thoughts. Una reason sai. But words that you hear, things that you see, passes through that hapa chini kwanza. It's somewhere here. Hapa chini kwanza. Then inakutana na vile ulihandoliwa ukiwa mtoi. Then nakukumbusha wenyewe you're coming from a very poor place. They're reminding you, you are very poor. Sahi unajiona uko nayo. Hakuna kitu ulikuwa na. Then inakumbusha, by the way, have been poor. So it touches that. So once it touches that, this is what it does to the body. You twist your mind from what it had agreed. Your soul doesn't want, but because it's something has been touched, you do it. You cause something called disharmony inside your body. Then you do it, and then unaanza kusema, sasa mbona nilifanya hivyo? Hata nisingewapatia. Hata nisinge, I would have. Na ushafanya. Disharmony to you. Let your, hata Biblia inasema, let your no be no, and your yes be yes. Simu ni yako. Ukishasema hapana, si lazima ukuwe na namba ya kila mtu kwa simu hata zenye hazikusaidii. Yangu iko na block button. Kama yako iko nayo, use the block button. End of being a bad therapist. Engineer, did I respond? Thank you. Any question as we move to the next? Very good button. So he can use it in future. He's picked that.
Dorothy, there are those people who have put up their hands. I can teach Deborah and Jane Olusese. They put up their, and I don't know if they have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can start with Deborah Cherotich. Please go ahead. Deborah, you're up. Okay. I'm not so sure if Deborah is in, but anybody else who raised their hands with the question, you can unmute and ask.
Actually, let's use the chat box. It makes the time makes it easier to track the questions and answer them. If you have a question, I really appreciate. Let's put it in the chat box. Then we can move faster because I know time is also moving. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm laughing at Doreen. Block button feels mean, but I will apply it. Don't worry, sweetheart. That's why your phone has a block button. The developers were aware of situations. So thank you so much. So is it okay if I moved to the next? That is again the lion in the house, the inner child. So healing the inner child, how to heal the inner wounds. I would like to address the cause of panic attacks. I think I've responded to that. I think either he's not here or not or here. Anxiety and depression due to the current economic scale. I think I responded to that during. I also responded to the depression, and let me talk about now the inner child healing and how to deal with childhood traumas. I'm looking for a story. Because childhood traumas is a blanket. I said it stems from both emotional neglect when your parents were emotionally. It also stems from a psychological neglect. It also stems from mother wounds. That is your relationship with your mom to date. So for women, how does that appear? I'll come back to that. So we have mother wounds. We also have father wounds. We have emotional neglect. We have fear. We have also, what do we call it? Trauma, not traumatic. We have traumatic experiences, which could run from rape to a kind of sexual assault, to being brought up in a mini barracks, and also being brought up by parents who are also not okay psychologically and emotionally. So those are the plethora and many more that I've not mentioned. Plethora of things that that constitute to inner child wounds. They're called wounds. So when you say inner child traumas or childhood traumas, the things that come up in those dimensions. Something that people tend to forget, or rather people tend to believe, that childhood traumas come from, when you are in the paramilitary kind of parenting, or the harsh kind of environments. But again, let me tell you, almost every child or almost every person that I've met has traumas. This is why. Traumas are defined by the things that you didn't receive as a child and the things that also things that were given and the things that were not given as a child. Because when you start looking at the world from the child's lenses and not the adult's lenses, then you realize, like now, as I'm speaking, I want you to take a moment, take just a second and travel back into your childhood and look at how you were brought up. What was not given, what was given. Probably something was given, but it was given under conditions. Things were not adding up. Some things were adding up, but they were under conditions, and it didn't seem genuine. It didn't seem sweet. Especially, you'll find that maybe some things sometimes you were rewarded as a child. Yeah. If you are your favorite, your parents' favorite, then you are always rewarded. But the moment you didn't perform in school, the rewarding was not there. Yes. Withheld also, yes, the things that we love withheld, yes. And then again, what I was explaining is, the moment you'd perform, you'd find yourself being rewarded amongst your siblings, yeah? And then when you did not perform, you are not rewarded. So tentatively, it means your kind of interaction with your caregivers was more of transaction. And to date, even as a grown-up, you don't accept things for free, subconsciously, by the way. These things, you don't even do them. They just happen as reactions. You don't accept things for free. In fact, when somebody wants to love you like freely, really, you're like, what do you want? Hey, wanataka nini? Be like, ai, apana. Because you're not accustomed to receiving without giving. You won't give, then you receive. Transactional kind of relationships. And childhood traumas has led to many marriages breaking up today. Because you find yourself, you are at the verge, you are empty, you're looking for a father figure. You're looking for a father figure in every man that you meet. You're looking for a mother figure in every woman that you meet. And you meet these women, and with time you realize that they look like your mother. They bother you, they bug you, they kind of command you, it's nasty. Then before you know it, marriages are breaking. Some people get into marriages because society has mentioned, hey, yo, bro, you're getting old. Yo, me, woman, please get out of this home, Yet, it's not what you planned for. That wasn't the blueprint of your life, So you get into this institution, 4 years down the line, 5 years, 6 years down the line, you guys looking like strangers in this house. 10 years, 15 years, you guys are surviving. Because from where you are coming from, you are surviving. And he was surviving. So you met because he filled a particular void in you, and you filled a particular void in him. So with time, you realize that, hey, wait, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I wanted, And by the time you're realizing this, time has gone, watoto ni wakubwa, hata unashindwa ufanye nini. Then what happens? We start surviving. What do? We transfer these traumas subconsciously, unknowingly. Men become workaholic. Women become constantly rising on pedestals, and they never even stop to celebrate the good things that happen to them. That's how bad childhood traumas can be. So men with father wounds, men that were not brought up by their fathers, and men that were not brought up by emotionally available parents. It's okay to have both parents, but at least one should be emotionally available. At least. So when a child is brought up by both parents, emotionally unavailable, then we're bringing up a generation that is emotionally unavailable. And that is what takes place over and over again. Sorry, and it's even bad for women because we now transfer this to our girls through the wombs. Because we carry these women by the virtue that you are born of your mother, you are automatically pre-exposed to the generational wealth, generational traumas, generational pains, generational, anything that is generational from your mother's side. It's that bad. So when a woman heals, she's not only healing herself, but is also healing her generation before her and after her. And the reason why it is important for you to heal your inner child as a woman, this one will go mostly to women. The reason why it is important to heal your womb as a woman, it's because by the time you're getting intimate with your husband, the meeting point is at the womb, the genesis of life. And if you're traumatized, then trust that is what that man is getting out of you. Then he adds to what he has. Then what happens? The runaway spree. Survival spree. That house is a genesis. That house is typically a recipe for disaster, as I call it. You're a firstborn. And because you were parentified at an early age, even in your house, you're still a firstborn. Controlling things, the urge to control, that is trauma. The urge to want things to happen in your own way. It's traumas. It's not about bending. It's not about compromising. It's about you still thinking that you should take on the lead. So trust me, with childhood traumas, when you get to the ages of between 38 to around 45, no, 38 to around 50. Was my eldest client is 69. That is how much people want to live. My eldest client is 69. Gentleman is around 50. Gentleman 50, 55, 58. So when you get to those ages, remember those kind of families that we come from are the families that have check boxes. So the families are always like, I want to give you a typical example. So the check boxes are always like, go to school, check, graduate, check, marriage, check, children, check, job, check. But the question is, why are you feeling empty even at this particular time when all the boxes are checked? You have your money check, you're driving your cars check, you have your building check, you have like things are moving according to the societal expectations. But why are you feeling empty? Why is there no sense of satisfaction in your life? Remember the three basics: the inner child, the teenage child, and the adult. So the adult has checked all these boxes. This inner child was never listened to. This inner child was never appreciated. This inner child was never given a chance to express what she thinks, what she feels, and what she understands. This inner child was not given an opportunity to be a child. This teenage was despised. This teenage was ashamed. This teenage was guilty. This teenage was just there. Constant words of accusation, constant words of criticism. Then you expect an adult self to function. It's called midlife crisis. It's the crisis because the three cannot work together. The three are not understanding each other. Mkubwa anataka, the adult self wants to eat chicken. The teenage self wants to eat nyama. The younger self wants to eat fish. It's one supper in one house. That's why you feel today. You feel unaccomplished and unsatisfied. Deep down, you know what you feel. To the outside world, you're this accomplished person, you're this accomplished woman, you're this person who has everything covered and everything going on. You know, actually the society admires you. If you're a couple, the society is like, oh, you know, the couple and all that. And if you're a CEO somewhere, hey, your juniors are like, you know, our boss, you know, you're my inspiration. And you sit down and you're like, wait first. Inspiration, Ajay. You guys don't even know what is going on in my head. So that is how powerful a wounded inner child is. Your relationship with your money, it's called money wounds, starts from teenage life. Your relationship with sex starts from boyhood and teenage. When you have sex with your partner, especially for women, you dry up so easy. And most of people married today are just having sex and not intimate. Because it is said, and I've confirmed, that you only meet a person as deep as they meet themselves. So if you're meeting yourself at this level, also expect anybody that you're going to have in your life to meet you at this particular level, because they can't meet you at this higher level. No, they are meeting you at either this level or this level. And then again, if you have any wounds that are within you, take this for example. If you've had anything to do with energies, kindly raise up your hand. Have you heard anything people say, oh, Anakoga, he's a bad energy, she has a good energy, you know, I love her energy, I you know, anything to do with energies, kindly raise up your hand. And just say, I have, so that I know what, I know I confirm I'm not working with them. I'm not talking British. Anybody who's had anything to do with energies, Jesus, I only have 3 minutes. Way! 3 minutes to 8. I've had, yes. I'm going to wind up so fast so that I don't take much of your time. My time is up to 8. Okay. I'm going to wind up so fast so that I don't take your time. Hey, sijasema kuhusu healing of the inner child. Please beg Nani for me. Please beg Catherine Chacha for me to add me at least 5 minutes. I'm still begging. Please beg Chacha for me. You people beg Chacha for me to add me 5 minutes. 5 minutes and I promise I'll be done. So my 3 minutes plus 5 minutes. By 8:05 I should be winding up. Kate, please. Okay. So thank you for those that have begged on my behalf. We hope she understood. I'll do 5 minutes. Maureen saying 20 minutes. Maureen, no. You're making me laugh and I'm taking more time. Okay, I've took 1 minute laughing. No. This is what I was explaining about energies. When you are wounded, then this is how you operate. Assume you're in Nairobi and a radio station is 100.5 FM. And it means if you step out of Nairobi, then the frequency changes. Nairobi it's 100.5 FM. Then it means whenever you step out of Nairobi, probably you head to the sides of Kiambu and all that, the frequency changes. This is how it works. That is how energies work. If you are operating within that frequency of 105, 100.5 FM within Nairobi. Anybody and anyone you're going to meet, especially maybe friends, maybe friends, maybe intimate relationships, your cycle of women, if you're a woman, your cycle of men, if you're a man, you'll realize that you're resonating with people within that frequency. And anybody outside that frequency irritates you. Why? Because wounded people tend to move together. People with wounded self, people with wounded inner child, people with wounded inner teenagers tend to resonate. Actually, they complement each other because if I have gaps, I want to complement it. What they don't understand is the compliment must start with you first as a person. Self-love must start with you first as a person. Because it's like pouring from an empty cup you don't have. How can you give me what you don't have? You come to me and ask me for water, yet my cup is empty. It means I'll have to borrow to give you. Literally, you're in a very nice, beautiful mansion, and you've switched off the lights inside off, and you're depending on lights outside, the security lights outside. So it means if the watchman is going to switch off the light, then you're going to be incapacitated in your own house. What does that cause you? What does that cause you? Depression and anxiety, stress, overthinking, feeling overwhelmed. Now, why did they switch off the light? Now, why did they do? Why do they not know? Do they know you are expecting? You know that expectations start coming in. Because you expect people to give you what you don't have. You must have first. Then you can give out. Then it's easy to receive because you have it in reservoir. Inner child. Okay? That's how inner child wounds and teenage wounds is very, 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 very important. Now, how do you heal your inner child? This is something I cannot say probably in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even 20, because anybody I take through inner healing, the journey takes as long as 15 to 20 sessions. Literally, because I do 1 session a week, so you can imagine the journey we have to take. So it depends on the intensity of the damage. And I can tell you, somebody sent me a quote the other day that said, most people die at 25 and wait to be buried at 75. Yeah, that thing is very true. 80% of people are dead, only 20 are living. Are you among the 20? We are constantly living on survival, flight mode. Yani we kila kitu inakushtwaga tu. Ama zingine una zone out. Flight mode ni kuzone out. Conversation is not going your way, you zone out. And then motivation left you. You're not motivated with anything. Things that you loved, you're slowly losing interest in them. So first of all, you must understand that dealing with your inner child does not mean that you're going to condemn your parents. No. It does not mean that you're going to see your parents as bad people. No. It's just that you're going to call a spade and not a big spoon. Mom, my mom was not there for me when I was growing up. And it's okay. Whatever the reason, especially those are the children that were brought up by the, how can I call these people? What are name? The people that work for the parastatal. When you want to exchange your left, right, and center, Mara, transfer, or even the government kada. The child, sign up for that. No. Thank you, Catherine. The bottom line is they were looking for money. But even the time that they were home, they were not home. They never compensated for that. So going into your inner child healing is acknowledging that child was not protected when he was supposed to be protected. He stood up for that, and that child needed it. Take yourself outside. Then look at that child from that picture, from that angle of a child. Use the child's lenses and not the adult's lenses. Don't read, oh, my mom was only that because of my father. No. So that needs act. Today, if your child walked in the house crying, to take them back, go back when you talk. You're going to embrace them first and ask them, what is it? Okay. Then keep quiet first. You soothe them to keep quiet. Put your inner child, a listening ear, an understanding mother, an understanding person. You step into your inner child life as the older person that you are, and promise that child that I know you are not protected. I know that was said and it hurts to date. You are told that this thing you cannot do because a child's self-esteem is developed at 3 years. Anything beyond that, nothing. A child is developed, so not esteem, IQ at 3 years. As they grow, it's polished. So that is how you start handling your inner child. And it can only be handled perfectly by a holistic therapist. If you know any, please walk to one before you move into starting to take antidepressant medications, before you move into taking psychotic medications, before you take, please. If one diagnoses you with bipolar and antipsychotic medic, anything, please seek ye first. Above all, now these are the last tips. I didn't see people who are having, yes, thank you. I don't want this to end. Oh, Justin, I'm so sorry, it has to end. I have 3 minutes to go. We were given up to 8. Please tell me, do we anyone who is having any migrants to list them? So please let me know who amongst us finds themselves working or feeling overwhelmed. Migraines. Okay, thank you, Julian Mose. Your husband is having migraines. Okay, well, that's good. Get me your okay, feeling overwhelmed. Who doesn't sleep well? And sleep well in this case, I mean, you sleep and in the morning ukiamka unasikia ni kama umefanya kazi usiku nzima na unasikia tu the day it literally pushes itself, you know. You just need the day to go. Feeling overwhelming, migraines. Something also here. Any pain around the shoulder blades, or any back pain, lower back pain or upper back pain. Please let me know. I want us to, I'm giving you tips on how, I want to give you tips on how to handle those ones. Who worries too much? Okay, thank you. We're getting these. Sleeping only 2 hours a night. Migraines, poor sleep, overthinking. Okay, we're doing great. I want to start giving tips. Any other concern? Any other concern? Before we start off and giving tips. Lower back pain, overthinking, anxiety. We have upper neck pain. Had felt it once this month after a very long time. Kasina would wish to know what is your triggers. Lower back pain and shoulder blades. Gillian Mose, confirm the shoulder pains is around the blade area. This area. Please confirm if yes. Type for me if it's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me work with what we have at hand. Neck area. Thank you, Gillian. So, okay. I wish soon, either if you guys don't contact me, but I wish to get some feedback from you when we try this, what we're going to try on maybe in a week's time. But this is what we're going to do. So we have pain, migraine, poor sleep, shoulders. Now, a quick one. This is where stresses are stored and traumas are stored. One. You see this area? The neck area and the shoulder blades area shows you're carrying too much. You're carrying literally the whole world in your small shoulders. The upper back, it means you're carrying too much. The lower back is also stress stored area. Your knees, stress stored area. Your ankles, your feet, hapa chini ya soli ya miguu hapa chini. I think this is your feet and then upper. I don't know whether we don't know what it is called. Also stores a lot of stress. And your jaws. Did you know that your face also stores stress? Your jawline. You're constantly like, no, yes. Your jawline is also containing a lot of stress. Now, this is how we're going to go about it. Let's start with, if you're having any lower back pain, please ensure, try as much as you can to, if you can access the ground, any bare ground, sleep on that bare ground and exchange those energies to the ground, because your body is an energetic field, and also the earth as an element also has energy. Now, that is for lower back. Coming back to still the lower back when it comes to pain. Now, let me start with sleep. Please, if you follow my instructions, trust me, you're going to be super duper good. Now, write this down. Get your weight. If your weight is what? If your weight is not 30, you guys are bigger than 30. If your weight it's 70, take 70, divide by 30. Take your weight, divide by 30. The answer you get, in this case, 30 divided by 70 is tentatively probably 2.2, 2.3. That is the amount of water you must take. I said must, not should. Must take on daily basis. That is the amount of water you must take on daily basis, because that water is equivalent to your BMI. This will help in keeping your body hydrated. Hydration must be taken very, very carefully when it comes to dealing with overthinking, anxiety, migraines, and poor sleep. 1. 2. Engineer, listen to this carefully, and anybody else who is having issues with sleep. If you're not comfortable or with what you're going to write down, then do it and keep that book away from your partner if you're not ready for them to read what you're going to write down. But every night, let's say you would want, yes, I mean water in liters. I didn't say put lemon. I didn't say put chia seeds. I didn't say put whatnot. No, I said water. Pure clean water. We are detoxifying the body. Pure clean water. Hydrate. That is number 2. That's number 2, number 1. Number 2 or number 1. Let's see. Then number 2, get a book. Could be a notebook, or could be something, shorthand notebook, something you can tear. If your wish is to always sleep at around 9 p.m. or say 10 p.m., then it means 15 minutes to 10 p.m. I'm kindly beseeching thee. Put on your alarm, switch off your phone, or put your phone aside and put it away. 15 minutes to your sleeping time. Then grab your book. Then in this book, please write everything that is going on in your head. Everything that is going on in your mind. Every thought. Remember, your mind and your brain is very, 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 very beautiful and pathetic at the same time. That one thing is able to create a mountain out of nothing. Write down. It's called decluttering. It's like closing those tabs one by one. Then after writing, read through. Then put the book aside. Please don't write on your phone. Gentlemen, please don't use your phone. Queens, please don't use your phone. I'm weaning you off the UV rays while writing down. Black and blue and white, or black and white. We write down. Then after writing down, put it down. I'm going to show you one last breathing technique that you're going to use. That should work if you follow it keenly with water. It will help. One more thing with the sleep. So I've responded to migraine. I've responded to sleep. Then when you sleep today, or when you started today, is it bad to sleep with your phone under? Very bad, pathetically bad. And I was about to explain that. So thank you, so that I don't forget. Now, our phones has a magnetic field, so it has energy fields. I'm explaining that. Thank you so much, engineer. Our phones has magnetic field, and your body is also an energy field. So usiku badala ulale, hizi energy fields zinapigana. And also again, remember, your head should either face north, east, west, and not south while sleeping. North, east, west, not south. Put the phone away from you and not even close to your head. If you want to switch it off, please switch it off. Set an alarm, switch it off, put it aside. Especially if you're having issues with migraine and lack of sleep. So that is well answered. Now, brushing out faster. So we've done migraine. I've responded to lower back. Lower back also declutter. Any pain of the lower back, the pain of the shoulders, declutter. Take water. And if you're taking red meat 5 times a day, hallelujah, please drop. Okay, drop to maybe once. Because these processed foods do not give you the correct energies that you need to move through the day, especially if you're wounded and you're not sleeping and you're grumpy and you're overthinking and you're anxious and you're depressed. They're causing more depression than anything else, by the way. Move plant-based. Love plant-based. Love lentils. Love mishiri. Love kamande. Love, what else? What else? Love plant-based foods. It's Ayurvedic. Raises your vibration, as I mentioned earlier. What is else did I not under? Okay, face Katsina. What is facing south? What do you mean by not facing south? Compass direction. South, your legs should be south. The only thing that is supposed to face south is your legs and not your head. It means you're literally, ni kama umewekwa, umetiltiwa hivi, you're draining energetically. Ensure your bedrooms are covered, the curtains are super dark, so that we help in the increase of melatonin. Yes, also sleep on your left. That's good. One last thing. You see my fingers? Venye siwaoni kwa video, I'm not the host. So I can't see all of you in the videos, but I want you to look at your fingers. So your fingers.
Hey, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. Hebu tuweke hata nione sura za watu. Hata mimi niko hapa.
Okay. So our fingers are connected to 14,400 energy points in our bodies. It's that powerful. So as we wind up, let me take you through this faster. Anytime you're feeling worried, please hold your thumb. Na weke tu chini, hata kama uko kwa meeting, umeshikilia tu hivi na unawasikiza tu na unaangalia tu. It will take your worries away. At least that's a quick fix. Anytime you're feeling you have some kind of fear within you, your index finger. Anytime you're very angry, especially at your husband or at your children, and you don't know how to respond, and you just, you're feeling like, huyu mtu nikimshika yeye naweza mpiga ngoto ashangae. Usimpige ngoto. Your middle finger, hold it like this. When you're feeling lost and feeling grieved and you're feeling like you've lost so much and life is not making sense and you're rushing against time and all that, please hold your ring finger. And anytime you feel like you lack joy and everything around you is fake, hold your small finger. So take one moment, everybody to hold their, I know you're all fearful of something. Please hold your, that person that is having migraines and everybody that is overthinking in this space, let us hold our index finger for 1 minute. This is my slide of fingers for just a minute. Concentrate inwardly, concentrate on that finger and relax. Ensure your legs are not crossed, because if you're crossed, means you're closing your brain. So hold it like this, ensure your legs are apart, and hold your finger like this and focus on that finger and tell me what you feel in a minute or so in the chat box. And that was my time, ladies and gentlemen. Try focusing much on that finger. Your breathing system might change for a moment. If your nose is blocked like mine, it will open up immediately. By now, energies should be rising from your feet. Someone might feel some tingling thing around the respiratory area. Focus on it. Please ensure that your shoulders are well rested. Don't be like this. Ensure your shoulders are well rested. And control your breath and enjoy. When you're ready, back to you, Catherine Chacha.
I'm still holding my finger. Do I stop? Do I not? I don't know. I think we've had a really good session. We've had a really good session, and I am really so grateful, my dear. I'm so grateful. I would love to get some feedback from 2 people before we close. I don't know, 2, 3 people, anyone who can speak. Tell us how the session has been as we wind up. Thank you so much, Dorothy. We've learned a lot. Personally, I was that one person who was also an overthinker and dealing with anxiety, and I've benefited. It's good to hear your voices. It's good to see your faces. If you are comfortable and courageous like me, you can put your video on and let's just get some feedback. Anyone who'd like to have a session like this again, please let us know. Wow, thank you, Justin. I really appreciate. I really, really do appreciate. You have contributed a lot to the session. Thank you so much. I'm seeing the messages coming in. This was very insightful. Lots of thanks to Professor Andrew, Dorothy, and Catherine, that's engineer. Thank you so much. Wow, this is good. So it was worth it. I just felt that I needed us to have a session like this. And I'm happy. Maureen says eye-opening, inspiring, eye-opening. Thank you. Doreen says super awesome. Wow. That's really good feedback. Makes me feel that, yes, the session was worth it. Personally, I've learned so much. And if you'd like a recording, please, I've included our contacts. Get in touch with Dorothy. If you have any other questions, please get in touch with her. Get in touch with me. If you'd like a recording of this session, I'll be really happy to share with you because I believe we are always learning. And one thing I've picked up so many things, but let me just highlight what I have learned, my takeaway from this session that will forever remain with me. As a woman, I need to heal because I don't want to be the person, the passage of trauma and other things that are negative to the next generation. I think if you can make a change in your own small way, please do. Was it Mother Teresa was asked, how do you change the world? If you want to change the world, start by sweeping your doorstep. Start with what you can do before you think about the big things out there. So I really appreciate that you have taken your time to listen, to learn. Kindly, what I will request, let what you have learned, maybe the 2-3 things you have picked up from this session, and you can share with someone, share with one person, share with 2 people, share in your networks, because I believe if someone, I follow Dorothy, I follow a lot of her content, and I was so inspired, and that's why I said I really need to listen to her. And I said I'm not going to listen to her alone, and I'm grateful for the 20+ people we have had in the forum and the value that we have gained today. Dorothy, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. Please bear with us. I think this is a journey. Wellness is not something you just start and stop like kama it has specific end, and it's just your whole wellness. It's something that you continuously are working on, continuously maintaining. And personally, as your accountability partner, I'd love to make sure that you are on track with everything we have learned. Yeah, so I'm grateful. Cyprian says, thank you so much for everything. God bless you, Francisca Casina says, indeed, it was very informative and a practical session. Dorothy, I can assure you, from someone who has dealt with a lot of meetings, you can see people are still logged in and they are commenting and they are really grateful. I really hope that you take to mind that we appreciate your time, and we are going to keep in touch. We are going to touch base with you because from this session, I think there are 1 or 2 people walisema hata hawataki iishe. Ni Justin ama nani? Alisema hataki iishe, meaning we've learned a lot. So thank you. For any queries, please feel free to contact us. And yeah, I think that's it. Anyone who has the courage to say something, and I'm a believer. Apologies if you are not a believer. But we did start the meeting with a prayer. But when I think about my own values, the first thing I know is that I'm a child of God. So pardon me if I'm talking about God and probably you don't believe in God, but personally I do. And I believe as a spiritual being, you must connect yourself with God and be whole completely. We've talked about the whole body, we've talked about our soul, we've talked about our mind, but remember that we are creations and we have a creator. And if you are a believer like me and you feel compelled to say a word of prayer to bless us, please unmute and let's close the meeting with that word. Nani atatuombea? Francisca, I can see your hand up. Castina?
Yes, Catherine. Yes,
Thank
yes. Hi,
you.
ladies. Hi, Dorothy. My hand is up to say that I really appreciate for this session. Indeed, it was very informative and practical. I've learned a lot, and please, if we can have a second session, I'll be glad to join in again.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll plan, we'll work on that. Thank you so much. So anyone who can say a prayer for us, just a short, brief one, as we wind up. Anyone who's courageous enough. Okay, because I don't want us to go beyond 8:30, let me be the one to say this, okay? So in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you, Jesus, for this wonderful session we have learned today. We pray that all that you have taught us, Father, all the gifts that you have given us, the talents you have given us, we pray that they may be a blessing to not only us, but to all the people that you have endowed and entrusted unto us. Father, we thank you that you have seen us through this whole week. Even as we begin the weekend, we pray for your grace and love and support in everything that we are doing. And we continue imploring you, Lord, to send us your Holy Spirit to guide us in each and everything, and even in dealing with our own imperfections, dealing with the challenges that we are dealing with, whatever, whether it is physical health, whether it is emotional health, whether it is mental health, and especially in this mental space where I see so many struggle, including ourselves. Lord, we pray for your grace and guidance, that we may get healing and that we may be restored. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen. If you're a believer like me, you can put amen there, and I close the meeting saying thank you so much again. God bless you, and looking forward to seeing you. We'll be having this kind of sessions once every month. Once or twice every month, I'll be able to share with you. If you're interested, kindly text me, let me know, because I'll be really happy to have some bit of accountability. Yeah, we started with having a women's talk on 11th of May. We've had this session, so I think 2 a month is okay for us to learn and help each other and take care of ourselves, be proactive in terms of matters health. So thank you so much. Have a good evening and God bless you.
Thank you. Good evening to you too.
Thank you so much, so much. I can see lots and lots of amen. God bless you. Grace said God bless you too. Thank you, Grace. Amen from Jillian Mose. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening. Good evening. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Share the recording. Engineer, yes, I will. I will share the recording to you. Yes. Thank you for giving me your email. Yeah. Jane, thank you for the informative session. God bless. God bless you. Amen. Cyprian, thank you. Thank you so much for joining.